welcome back to ACB Wrestling Talk, your main source for wrestling news and wrestling discussions. I'm, of course, your host, Alexis Carrillo, and let's get into some wrestling talk. Last night, we had all the fallout on the Team Red side from what happened at Survivor Series. Of course, Team Raw winning only one match, that being the Triple Threat Brand Supremacy Tag Team Champions Triple Threat match that they won on the pre-show, on the kickoff. So essentially, kind of like I pointed out yesterday, to the mainstream fan, to the fan that actually watched the pay-per-view itself, Raw won absolutely no match. But in the end, technically they won just number uno. So, guess who comes out at Raw to open it with a town hall meeting with every single Raw superstar, every single Raw locker room member, as WWE stated, surrounding the ring. Of course, the leader of Team Raw himself, Seth Rollins, who failed in leading Team Raw to a victory. You know, he pretty much started assigning blame and acting like a bit of a prick, which, you know, it's uncharacteristic of the current Seth Rollins character, but not too far away from what the character he was back in 2014, 2015, 2016 with the Authority. So maybe they're reverting him back to that. But Seth Rollins called out Survivor Series called out Randy Orton at Survivor Series because he assumed that Orton was the weak link in his team at Survivor Series. He called out Charlotte Flair for not being the leader that the Raw Women's Division needed to beat NXT and SmackDown. He called out AOP because essentially AOP has been talking about violence, and apparently Raw needed some violence at Survivor Series, and they would have been a better option than whatever they had, apparently. He called out Rey Mysterio and pretty much called Mysterio's son Dominic stupid. All of these superstars, and including every single member of Team Raw, of the Raw locker room, walked out on Rollins, except for one guy who also Rollins had some blame for, Kevin Owens. Called him a fat piece of shit, I believe. And Kevin Owens was not going to stand for it and just got in the ring and stunned the hell out of Rollins to a big pop from the Chicago crowd, who at the beginning of the show was starting to chant for CM Punk. But hey, you know, that's a pretty interesting segment, clearly advancing some kind of story. Unfortunately, due to recent events, we are without the world champion on Raw once again. So Rollins versus Owens might be the main event feud on Raw, but it has no title to essentially give the fans something to tune in for. We had yet another segment of the Rusev, Bobby Lashley, and Lana mess, where Rusev attacked Lashley after, I believe, Lashley defeated Titus O'Neil. Tore down a bit of the set onto Lashley, which shocked the hell out of Lana. Then Rusev was arrested, with Lana still pretty much issuing these restraining orders, temporary restraining orders on Rusev for each and every state that they are in. This time, I believe, in Illinois. So again, Rusev was arrested. Again, I really don't find any rhyme or reason for these segments other than, you know, just to advance some kind of story, just to try to put one of these guys over. But to me, Lashley could be doing so much better. Lana is irredeemable, as I stated, and Rusev is pretty much looking like an idiot. So fix that, WWE Creative. Matt Hardy made his return to the Elite in a brand new look. Let's just wait and see what he has to offer. Another, small note from Raw. Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy brawled, I believe, in that ring. Finally, they give Aleister Black something in that ring. A crowd, Chicago, loved it. And I can honestly say that they were on Aleister Black's side, but nothing against Buddy Murphy. Like I said, I'm a fan of what WWE has been doing this entire year in building up guys like Buddy Murphy, like Cedric Alexander, like Mustafa Ali, like Chad Gable, like Humberto Carrillo. Built these guys who have no name, no pedigree, nothing, into something by actually putting them in meaningful matches. That is something I have been admiring on WWE's part for quite a while now, and I believe that this Buddy Murphy and Aleister Black brawl might just be another step in that right direction. We also got Asuka defeating Charlotte Flair with, yet again, the Mist. Asuka becoming very repetitive, predictable on that side of things, as WWE usually does. They're trying to make her this big heel, and for all we know, Asuka could be the next challenger to Becky Lynch's Raw Women's Championship. I certainly would not be against it, but we'll just have to wait and see what goes down. Rey Mysterio beat, I believe, Orton, Drew McIntyre, and one more man that I'm forgetting right now in a Fatal 4-Way match to become #1 contender to the U.S. Championship after Humberto Carrillo was taken out by the OC. And pretty much right after the Fatal 4-Way match, we went to commercial break. We came back from commercial break, and we had the U.S. title on the line where AJ Styles lost to the master of the 619, and Rey Mysterio became United States champion for the first time in his career, with an assist by RKO himself, Randy Orton. So, safe to say, AJ Styles might be forgetting a little bit about the United States Championship. He might not be challenging or chasing Rey Mysterio for the title anytime soon, and rather be focusing him and the OC's energy in attacking Randy Orton and putting him down, possibly leading up to Ricochet helping Orton out. I thought they were going to have Randy Orton versus Ricochet at TLC. They might stretch it out as far as they possibly can. Maybe WrestleMania match? We'll see. And finally, the show ended with Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins match that ended in a DQ win by Kevin Owens after the Authors of Pain caused interference, beat down Kevin Owens, but surprise, surprise, left Seth Rollins alone. They did not touch Seth Rollins. There was even a point during this entire segment where Rollins seemed like he might go at them. He might actually fight them. Authors of Pain just walked away, walked back up the ramp. Owens was about to get back up when Rollins hit him with a curb stomp and, started talking trash to him. Obviously, Rollins was a bit frustrated after Kevin Owens' reaction at the beginning of the show. But could this be the early stages of Seth Rollins' brand new heel persona? Could he be turning heel yet again? I mean, this certainly would be a case of WWE listening to the fans. If anything has been clear is the fact that WWE fans and the universe haven't been so happy with Seth Rollins. They haven't been cheering him. They haven't been on his side lately. So turning him heel might be, WWE telling the fans, hey, we're listening to you. We're not going to push Seth Rollins down your throat as a babyface. So we're going to switch him up and we're going to turn him heel. And honestly, I couldn't be happier because I was afraid we were going to have yet another Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar match at WrestleMania. Nothing against both of these men, but a little bit predictable, a little bit stale, to say the least. WWE Backstage, I should say, will have an appearance from Triple H. So for all you fans who love WWE Backstage and tune in to that show, you're in for a treat because Triple H will be calling in live from the Performance Center in Orlando. Unfortunately for all you CM Punk fans, that will not be the case because CM Punk will not be appearing on the show, essentially ripping up any possibility of having any interaction between Triple H and CM Punk on this show, which is safe to say might not be what Fox wanted. Because again, Fox wants viewers. Fox wants ratings. And what would bring more ratings than CM Punk and Triple H having a back and forth on a live show? I believe it's live. But again, for unknown reasons, for undisclosed reasons, CM Punk will not be taking a part of tonight's episode of WWE Backstage. This is where CM Punk's several appearances, not a full-time member of Backstage, comes into place. And if you ask me, this is the best move. Personally, as a wrestling fan, I want to see CM Punk and Triple H's first interaction on TV for entertainment purposes in the middle of a Raw, SmackDown, NXT, or WWE pay-per-view ring. That's what I want to see. You might have a different view on things. You might have hoped to see Triple H and CM Punk on Backstage. Again, I apologize. It seems that's not going to happen. But you already know how I think about it. Hopefully in the future, CM Punk could show up on any of these shows and we can hear the cult of personality once again all throughout the arena. We seem to also be getting kind of a timetable on when Xavier Woods might be returning to in-ring action for WWE. Xavier Woods suffered an Achilles tear at a WWE live event in Sydney, Australia late last month. He underwent surgery on October 25th, and it was reported that he could be out of action until summer of next year. So quite a while, quite a wait to see the third member of the New Day, Xavier Woods, return. Xavier Woods recently spoke with Chuck Carroll of CBS Sports, and I believe Chuck Carroll himself sent out a tweet with just a small response from Xavier Woods in regards to his timetable. This is what Woods had to say, apparently, if I'm not mistaken, according to Chuck Carroll, and I quote, "There's no real timetable on when I'll be back. It could be 5 months, it could be 9 months. There's a lot of wiggle room in there." So again, Woods might be out for quite a while. The only other time that a superstar has been given a timetable of close to a year and has returned earlier than expected was, of course, the iconic John Cena return in 2008's Royal Rumble match. So, could Xavier Woods join that list? Possibly, hopefully. But, it's safe to say that Xavier Woods being out of the New Day puts the New Day in a really troubled situation, because you got a former WWE champion and Kofi Kingston, who is now stuck in the tag team division, and you've got somebody like Big E, who's got so many potential that his talents are being wasted in the tag team division. The same with Xavier Woods. I think the New Day, they might not want to break up, but if you ask me, them being in a group and them going after the tag team titles time and time again is actually holding them back. Moving on to our fourth segment, Eli Drake spoke out on interest from WWE and AEW before he signed with NWA. This after he was granted his release by Impact Wrestling, I believe, earlier this year. And I quote, this is what Eli Drake had to say, and it's going to be quite a long statement, so pay attention. And I quote, "There has been interest from WWE for the last 3 years, but I kept turning them down because Impact kept giving me raises, which maybe in the long term might not have been the best move, only because your up potential in WWE is so crazy. Just the money people are making from the Saudi shows, and now with AEW and whatnot, people are getting more money out of that too. But it was kind of to the point for 3 years. I was kind of ringing their bell, and then turned away and went somewhere else. I probably annoyed the shit out of them at this point, so I don't know. AEW, there was interest there. We kind of had a deal worked out, but that ended up falling through. And then I talked to Ring of Honor, I talked to NWA. The most appealing offer I had was from NWA with Billy Corgan and Dave Lagana. So at this point, I feel like it has got so much buzz. Obviously, it's brand new and who knows where it's going to go or what it's going to do. It's on YouTube now. I know a lot of people kind of look down on that, but you have to look at it like it is accessible to anybody, anywhere. Maybe that seems a little low rent in some sense, but I actually think it's kind of rock and roll, which is exactly what Billy is. As he says, he innovates in the space he is given, and I think that's the way to go. Right now, I love what I'm doing with the NWA. Whether that means I stay there and make that place the best place it could possibly be, or somebody comes along with an offer, at the end of the day, I'm a businessman, and I am my own business. So anything is possible. But it all depends on what is on the table. At this point, my main focus is NWA because it's hot. It's the only different thing to me that I see going on in professional wrestling today. Everything else just kind of resembles each other, and we're the one thing that looks very incredibly different and feels different. To me, it's NWA at this point. So, Eli Drake had quite a few offers from, quite a few shows of interest from Ring of Honor, from Impact Wrestling itself before the entire backstage drama of Eli Drake not wanting to get in the ring with Tessa Blanchard. Has some regrets not going to WWE, all of that. But at the end of the day, with how most of these companies are, I think Eli Drake being on the NWA and being on YouTube might be beneficial for his career right now to give him the spotlight. Because if you watch AEW right now, it's hard for me to believe that they would position Eli Drake in any main program, whether it be with Chris Jericho, whether it be with Cody, or Pac, or Jon Moxley, or Hangman Page, or any of those. So again, I think it was a great move by Eli Drake to head over to NWA, and on the matter of it being low rent that they're on YouTube, I don't think that's the case. Like he said, anywhere and everywhere they can catch you on YouTube. I'm sure you don't make too much money out of it, but it's something, and something is better than nothing. If not, you can ask Impact Wrestling when they had their whole deal with the Pursuit channel and Twitch. They barely got any viewership, but it was something, and something is better than nothing. So, wish the best for Eli Drake, and hopefully tonight is Tuesday, which means another episode of NWA Power, so hopefully the National Wrestling Alliance can, recover from this whole backstage drama and issues that they had with Jim Cornette, and hopefully fans can give NWA a chance, because again, it really sucks when one person, just one individual, ruins what hundreds of people are working on. And it's always been ridiculous, and it's always been a stupid reaction from people, at least from my point of view, when something happens, when one individual causes something, for whether it be for a TV show, a movie, wrestling, anything, a soccer team, a sports team, anything, and fans just decide, oh, I'm done with it. That, to me, has always been a stupid and idiotic and ignorant reaction from fans, because that's just one guy, one individual, one person who made a mistake that you might not agree with. If the group as a whole decides to get rid of the issue at hand, then give them a chance. Because at the end of the day, it's not just one individual person, it's an entire group of people that have jobs depending on whatever the hell is going on. So again, I will certainly be tuning into NWA Power for weeks and weeks, months and months to come, not only because it is my job right now with the show, but because I thoroughly enjoy the fact that NWA has something different, as Eli Drake said, different going on in professional wrestling right now, and I hope you do too. If you have a different point of view on the situation, go ahead, leave it in the comment section below. And finally, being that it is Tuesday, we also have our Impact Wrestling preview on Access TV, and being that it is Thanksgiving week, Impact Wrestling has decided to give us a throwaway episode called Throwback, Throwdown. Now, they have all these weird 70s, 80s kind of names. They've really been pushing it through social media, so I'm not going to discourage you or anyone from tuning into it, but it's certainly not at the top of my list. Entertainment is entertainment, and we'll just see what kind of reaction they get from the fan base. But again, Throwback, Throwdown equals, at least to me in my mind, throwaway episode from Impact Wrestling, because it is Thanksgiving, and it's not always got to be a Thanksgiving throwaway episode. If you don't agree with me, you can ask WWE and you can ask AEW, see what they're putting on this week. But again, I digress. It's all up to you. If you want to tune in. Throwback, Throwdown. So that's it for today's episode of ACB Wrestling Talk. Today, Tuesday, November 26th, 2019, nearing the end of the year. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you dislike this video, hit the dislike button. That's it for me. See you tomorrow.